I feel like we really haven't had a phenomenal candidate in a very, very, very long time. Kamala Harris, you know, her being black. Hold on, hear me out. Kamala Harris and her being black and all that shit is good, but you're not getting my vote just because you're black, because just because you're black doesn't mean that you're going to do something for the black people. Like, we got to get past that. We got to get past that. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And I'm just saying this.
So is there a lesser of two evils that's not Kamala Harris?
Say it again.
Who's the lesser of the two evils?
No,
would you rather us?
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this. Let's look at it at a more broader spectrum, right? What you're saying to me is before they pulled Biden out the race, which they already knew that he should have never been the front runner anyway, right? Before they pulled him out the race. What you're saying is,
I didn't agree with that. I was
okay, but watch this. I just want to pose this question from a person that didn't go to an Ivy League and all that. I'm just a common sense kind of guy.
Means nothing.
No. I just like to say that though. I like to say that for all the intellectuals that feel like, you know, because you went to a smarter school that your common sense makes every stop, right?
I'm
so
glad
what you're saying to me is of all the Democratic Party people that exist, senators, congressmen, aldermen, whatever you are of the Democratic Party that had the opportunity, that you have a track record of doing something big. I love Bernie Sanders. How about that? I love Bernie Sanders. How about that? Right, hold on. But I'm just saying, hold on, hear me out. So what you're saying is to the common person that we don't know politics, we ain't studying this. What you're saying is you let Sleepy Joe run again, saying that there was nobody else in the entire Democratic Party that could have been a better representation than a almost geriatric
Shout to Cory Booker, Westmore.
Right, you understand what I'm saying?
Kamala. I'm saying, why we didn't get any of those?
Let me finish. Let me cook this. What you're saying is this man was the best representation for the Democratic Party and the entire Democratic Party, and you didn't realize, that he wasn't the right person for the job until he fumbled the ball completely in that debate, and then you want to pull him. I'm just not buying that.
Why didn't we? I'm just saying, can I just say something before you go, Lola?
I'm not buying that.
Why didn't we command that?
I'm not buying that.
Why didn't we command for her to have that seat before then? Like, until, like you said, until then we come out and drove. 550 million in 3 weeks is a lot for us to fucking put together, sis. I'm with you.
I don't know. Maybe I like to prioritize the issues.
Let's do the issues.
It boggles my mind that we're even talking about that when the lesser of two evils is literally a convicted criminal.
No, I get that, sis. Me, can I just give you just my high level real quick, sis? Right? I think there's a bigger play, right? Mm-hmm. I don't trust neither party, and I also think money runs the world. I think there's an evil agenda at play and all that other stuff. I don't know which one, but at the end of the day, I just don't want us to get into the point where we're just voting for her because it's the best thing for us because she's black. And then what if the grand scheme was for them to parade her and put her up there just so they can fuck us up more? That's all I'm just asking. What if that is the game plan, Lola? I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't.
Agreed. And listen, I will respect you regardless of what you decide.
Of course, sis.
You know, when that day in November comes, and for whatever reason, I feel very confident that even if I were thinking lesser of two evils, I know which one the lesser is. I know very confidently. That's just what I know.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it doesn't make it right. Be clear on my message. It doesn't make it right. And in my opinion, I'm not saying I'm voting for Trump. I just might not vote at all because I don't believe in what she's doing. Like, I don't believe in her. You know, listen, the thing is, again, I understand I'm not perfect, but I understand that the president has a certain amount of powers, right? I understand that technically, if the president really wants to do something, the first 24 hours, that's it, right? The day one, that without Congress interfering, without Senate, day one, that first 24 hours is your time to shine. Other than that, it's what Congress, you know, 2/3 of Congress and this and that, right? So I understand that, right? So I understand the basics, right? What I'm saying is, again, what you're telling me is all of these phenomenal Democrats, mayors, governors, congressmen, whatever, it's the message that you're sending to us. You're saying that none of these hundreds of other people were better. Yeah,
especially black.
Especially black. You're saying that we could not find not one other person better than Sleepy Joe. If that's the message that you're sending to me,
oh no, that's not the
the
message.
Democratic Party, what other message is there then? Because you
the
allowed
message is just that we found ourselves in a moment and we had to navigate that moment.
What moment? You knew throughout his presidency he might not even live through the presidency, and you want to? Are you kidding?
I think that Fox News had a lot to do with making us believe that that's the case.
So Hayes just put that in the comments. Seeing that media controls a lot of this stuff. That's the perception. I just feel like I love my black queens. I would love it. I just feel it's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna go crazy deep on it. It's like the Jesse Jackson. For me, I just feel like I want the right. Like if Michelle would have ran, I'm for it. Michelle has a conviction.
Popular. You're doing the same thing.
No, I just like her. I do. I like her better. I feel like she did more. I feel like Barack didn't do shit for us either. I'm just keeping it funky with you. He gave us inspiration.
Let's get unfunky before my dad sees this and says I need to make new friends. I'm just kidding.
Sis, we love you for free.
I'm kidding. I mean,
no. What we're trying to do is just being. I just want us to be independent thinkers and all that other stuff. I don't want us to just fly because I hate seeing it because just because we're black, this was black. What if they just put somebody black in power as a puppet, and to do all this shit so they can put their agenda in place? I just want us to make sure we look at everything.
That's what I'm
saying, sis.
You know what I mean? But I don't think that's Kamala, and maybe I could be wrong, but I think we're dealing with two different situations.
Got you. That's all I'm saying. Let's just be open-minded, sis.
You will see me being one of the people holding her accountable for what I want.
Cool. Right? That's all I asked for. That was the realest shit I've heard, sis.
No, time out.
Please, that's real.
I want to talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Wait, hold on. I love this conversation. I love where we're going with this. I love it.
No. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what I've been waiting for right now. That's what I've been waiting for. You're saying that you will be one of the people holding her accountable. Hold her accountable how? She becomes the president and she doesn't do anything for us. What are you going to do? I'm not being funny, but what are you going to do as one person versus the president? If she this is a real question. If we put her in office and she does absolutely nothing of what she promised, which ain't uncommon for a politician to lie and say, I'm going to do all of these things for whatever group of people and get in there and do something completely different. What are you going to say? Well, we're not going to give you another 4 years. When in the 4 years she's in, what damage does she cause then? What are you going to do? That's the argument right there.
I mean, we're going to have to hold her accountable, and we're going to have to assess them. Did healthcare become more accessible? Let's see if that happens.
But that's my argument right there. I'm not being funny, but that's my argument. When we are elevating somebody to technically the highest job, highest position in our country, technically, right? The president of the United States, and we put somebody in that type of a position to change millions, billions of people's lives, right? With their decision making, and they choose to do something else. Technically, unless we're gonna come together, and I mean as a force, like we shut New York down, shut Philly, and we know exactly. Unless we are gonna come together in a force that technically has never been seen before, there is no way technically to hold them accountable. They're already in power. What are you gonna do but ride the wave out then not give them another shot at it? The damage is done already.
The damage is done, and I'm going to talk about COVID, and I'm going to talk about the many people who lost their lives because of how we handled that.
Okay,
we can get into a lot. I'm going to talk about the things that we shouldn't be giving the other person another chance for, right? And then whether or not we have the right Democratic candidate, I think that's a great conversation that we should continue. And we have another 4 years to choose another one. If this one doesn't work out, but
some people didn't make it through the 4 years.
There is something emotional about it that I'm just going to allow myself to enjoy at this moment.
I'm not mad at that.
No, I'm not mad, but I'm just telling you. Guess what? You know what? You heard what you just said. Talking about the COVID and things, and I lost 13 people in COVID. 13 people. Some people never made it through the 4 years. Some people never made it through the 4 years. Some people never made it through the 4 years to be able to put somebody else. Like these people are doing things that could affect or end your life immediately. Where that's it. You don't have the ability to choose anybody else. And then what? That's the only message that I'm sending. So when I say what I said, I'm just saying again, right? Me and Cuzzo talk about the common sense training. Like stop the politics and let's get to the human factor and stop the fucking bullshit. Are we going to put somebody in there that's actually for the people, that actually has had track record of doing something for the, are they going to get everything done that they want on their agenda? No, but if it's a difference between putting somebody in office that's for the people and actually want to see human beings thrive, and the difference between putting somebody in there, like you said, that's like a circus clown. I agree with you 120%, but that's my problem right there. That's my problem. Is getting somebody in there that actually truly gives a fuck.
And there's a lot of people doing the work, sis. There's a lot of people.
And there are. I mean, there are people like, oh my goodness.
A lot of people doing
Shout out to Erica Ford here in New York.
When I want to celebrate people, but there's the woman who championed the Crown Act before Dove got involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And created legislation for Black women to be able to wear our natural hair. In the workplace, there are these problem solvers solving problems. And so maybe if we bring it back a little bit to the call it small wins that I do still think are potentially impactful if we can marry both our altruism and our self-interest. That's a belief I have, is that those two can live together. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can do things like make sure Teslas are able to spot Black people walking across the street and they don't accidentally like run us over. Like, you know what I mean? There are problems that we can solve at a practical level. And then there are philosophical and systemic, structural, just hot messes, for lack of a better word, that we also have to talk about and fix. And we need all three archetypes of people like us.
Absolutely. That's the overall arching message, sis. We need each other, and let's just be open-minded, because we know where our hearts are. I know where all three, everybody on the screen, I know what our main objective is, and we know where we put our people first.
And there are. I mean, there are people like, oh my goodness.
A lot of people doing.
Shout out to Erica Ford here in New York.
When I want to celebrate people, but there's the woman who championed the Crown Act before Dove got involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And created legislation for Black women to be able to wear our natural hair. In the workplace, there are these problem solvers solving problems. And so maybe if we bring it back a little bit to the call it small wins that I do still think are potentially impactful if we can marry both our altruism and our self-interest. That's a belief I have, is that those two can live together. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can do things like make sure Teslas are able to spot Black people walking across the street and they don't accidentally like run us over. Like, you know what I mean? There are problems that we can solve at a practical level. And then there are philosophical and systemic, structural, just hot messes, for lack of a better word, that we also have to talk about and fix.